Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1968 WAR5 Project Draft. This is an introduction to the process. This is the fourth season we're doing a WAR5 Project Draft 4, and it's the 1968 season. And the card set is the reissue that Strat-O-Matic did for 1968. The reissue was done in the mid-1980s. The cards look very similar to the cards that they produced in that current time between 1977 and 1984, which fits the other three seasons we've done WAR5 projects for, 1930, 1956, 1961. We should probably take a look at the Strat roster sheet for 68 as well. We got the National League standings up here now. This is the year the Cardinals, they lost to the Tigers in the World Series. They won 97 games. National League did not have a more dominant top end as they have previously, with the Giants at 88 wins, and then you're down to the fifth team at a record of 500. And then after that, you drop down below 500 there. So, American League, this is the Tigers' magical season. So we'll take a look at this. 103 wins for the Tigers. Baltimore had won the 66 World Series, pardon me. St. Louis won in 67, could not repeat in 68 in the most three recent years. Baltimore's offense just fell off the planet. The pitching was amazing. The hitting was awful. That goes with a lot of the American League. That's the reason why a lot of these teams have fallen. The hitting in the American League was really bad. The hitting overall was bad. And so they would make corrections for this in 1969. I'm having trouble bringing this thing up. They'd have trouble for this in 1969. They changed the mound so that there would be more offense, lowered the mound, and added four new teams: Kansas City, Seattle Pilots, the Montreal Expos, and the Padres. So that meant that you had a lot, worse pitching involved. So with that, Strat-O-Matic printed, since I can't get that up here for you, we have the hitting and the pitching stats already finished alphabetically by team. You would have 12 hitters for each team in both leagues, because this is before the DH. And then you'd have four extra players, usually two hitters and two pitchers. In the case of Atlanta, you see that. And in case of Baltimore, you see two extra pitchers. It's almost consistent. The extra cards have a code in this column here. 1 to 8 is by template order and also by earned run average. The lowest earned run average at the beginning. A lot of great pitching through all these teams. What's really interesting is that the 1930 season has the amazing offense and terrible pitching, dreadful pitching, but you got a 401 Bill Terry, you got some 390, 370 hitters. You have Hack Wilson with 190 RBIs. And then at 68, you've got this incredible pitching. So the fact that eventually we'll put a broad, an actual gameplay and carryover league together with players at both ends of the hitting and pitching spectrum. So that'll be a lot of fun once we get to that part of the process. All right. Let's take a look at the number of hitters and pitchers. We'll look at the hitters with WAR by team. And what WAR5 is the WAR value for that player, multiply it by 5, and it becomes a currency. So, for example, here is Don Buford, led the club in hitting with a 282 average, had a 4.8 overall WAR. You multiply it by 5, it's $24 and $24. Brooks Robinson here, a 720 OPS, 17 and 75, but remember he's got a Gold Glove, and that has the 162 games played as well, played every day. Gold Glove, 162 games is really going to raise the WAR to 42 for some dubious hitting stats. But I kind of like that because normally a lot of times value systems always look at offense and don't take a look at the whole picture. You see in red are negative WAR players, which are very valuable for teams to purchase to get a discount, to get a refund if you want to call it that. The total offensive WAR is 2046. The total pitching is 1441. Here is the total WAR number, 3488 or $3,488. We want to put 32 teams in our league instead of 20. We have 480 Strat-O-Matic cards. Actually, we have 487 Strat-O-Matic cards, which means that 7 cards, bad ones we would assume, will be removed. To get to 3488, which is a number divisible by 32, which is an average of $109 per team, we added 3 points to the price of 2 players, or 1 player. Yastrzemski, Carl Yastrzemski was $52.50. We brought him up to $55. And Gates Brown hit 360, but his WAR was only 10, so he raised his to 10.5. So how do we distribute 3488? Do we want to give all the teams an equal allowance? And we don't. We want to give the 20 Major League Baseball teams who played in this season more money. So they're going to have $120 to spend on 15 players for a $2,400 payroll. So they will get $2,400 of the $3,488 worth of players. The 4 expansion teams of 1969 can spend $98 on their roster, and the 8 expansion teams beyond, $87 on their roster. Just looking at the best players for hitting and pitching, there's Yastrzemski. He hit 301 with a 922 OPS. Won the batting title. I think he's the only 300 hitter in the American League. It's really going to be fascinating eventually when we put the 1930 and 1968 teams available in the same overall draft to get both ends of the spectrum. So Yastrzemski now eclipses the price that Mickey Mantle had at $54. So Yastrzemski is $55. In this set, it would be well worth it. When you start mixing Yastrzemski's numbers in, however, with other seasons, it might not look that great. 23 homers, 74 RBIs, 119 walks. Going down to the world champion Tigers, Al Kaline, it's $287. Very reasonable, $16.50. Their offense is very reasonable, $16.50, $27. Bill Freehand's $34.50 because he's a catcher and he had 25 home runs. An extra player, Gates Brown, was a pinch hitter, but he hits 370 with an 1127 OPS. He's an outlier card, extra player card. Kind of in the spirit of that 1977 Manny Mota card and Roger Freed cards we had, though probably not quite as good, but still. And actually, Gates Brown at 338 in 1971, which is still my favorite version of the Gates Brown card. But National League, you're probably wondering about Mr. Bob Gibson. So we'll look at the pitching. And here we go. Well, folks, we have a new WAR5 price tag, and it is the price tag for Bob Gibson. $56. He becomes the highest paid player in our WAR5 project based on WAR5 numbers, with a 112 ERA in 1968. The amazing season he had. So, yeah. Would there have been any other player in the 4 years that should have or could have eclipsed that? We talked about Mantle in 56 and 61. Right there, really. Maris, besides the 61 homers, his WAR5 number is below 40 because every other aspect of his game is very good, but not on another level like Gibson. And in 1930, Ruth Gehrig, Bill Terry, Hack Wilson all do well, but not as good as Mr. Gibson does. So with that, we'll get to drafting and have a video coming up for that. We'll see you next time.